The Dera Vandal. Honestly, I'm not gonna hide it. The Dera Vandal isn't that good of a weapon. Well, when compared to other primaries, it isn't that good. It can kill things, but there are several other weapons that are way better at killing things than the Dera Vandal is. But if you want to use the Dera Vandal for like fun or anything, or if you really like the normal Dera, which I did, here's a build that you can use if you're a player around master rank 8 and 10 or 8 or 10, and you can still do pretty well with it. But anyways, let's look at the Dara Vandal's basic stats. So as you can see, the accuracy on this weapon, 100. Its accuracy is really good. Like you can, if you can handle the shots just like trailing off and like because the projectile speed isn't really that fast. It's a little slower than most weapons. So if you can handle that and you can fire to and you can adjust what you're firing to like the Dara Vandal how the bullets act when they've been fired, you can get 100% accuracy on most enemies and just get those consistent headshots. The next thing it has is a pretty good crit chance. Not as good compared to the Brighton Prime, as it has a 10% crit chance, or when compared to other weapons like the Soma. That has like a 300% crit chance, that kind of stuff. But it's still pretty good. It's better than the Karak. It's better than most other things. Again, not as good as the Baser, but it's still a pretty good crit chance for what it is, and you can work with it. And even though it looks pretty small, it's still pretty effective. Like it's still really good, And you're always getting these crits on and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good. You got the crit multiplier, also okay when compared to other things. It's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same with all the other ones. Fire rate, also pretty good. The fire rate, it's pretty decent. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's a medium fire rate. It fires fast enough for you to hit your enemies and to do a lot of damage. But you can upgrade that if you want. That's just, if you want to like put like shred on or something, or like 3 ranked up, a speed trigger, that would be all fine. Fire rate, sorry, mag size 60. 60 is really good. I think it's like an extra 20 from the normal Dera. Very good upgrade. It makes it so we don't have to put on a mag mod, and it makes it so you can fire for longer. A noise alarming doesn't really matter. Reload also pretty good. Actually no, that's a lie. It looks pretty small, and my rating said it wrong. It's actually pretty. It's pretty bad. You need to put with most guns you need to put in a faster reload into it. And when compared to other guns, it's pretty slow than other ones. Status also pretty good again when compared to other guns. Not as good. Better than most of the beginning ones. So it's a pretty good status when compared to the Bratton. So if you want to make a status weapon, I would recommend the Bratton Prime. Yeah. So if you want to make a status weapon, which again you don't really want to do because it's you don't want to make a weapon just for status unless it's like the Ignis. That's a weapon you want to make just for status because that's how the gun works. It's a more status weapon, but for like auto rifles, you don't want to make it for a status. You just want to you don't want to just mod for status. You want to mod for critical chance. That's crit or just for crit, because crit is just it's probably one of the best things to use for weapons in this game. So you want to mod for crit. The trigger's auto impact, pretty good. It's got a pretty high puncture, and slash, it's pretty low, but that's still pretty good. That's about doing some quick math. That's about 34 damage on that. Sorry, I can't do math under pressure. Sorry, I should have done it before, but all good. But if we have a look at it, after it, we got we've increased the critical chance to 12. We also increased the multiplier. We've left the fire rate, mag the same. Reload is a lot shorter than it was before, and status is also higher. It's about 30, which it was 50. So pretty much doubled the status. Which again, as I said, for this weapon, when you combine it together, you're doing a lot of damage to headshots, and you're also doing you're doing a lot of corrosive damage. As I put on, as you can see, I put corrosive damage. I also increased the basic damages here, and I put in corrosive. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I have. I have you can see the status here, and we'll go to upgrade. And I'll show you the actual mods I have put on. So we have Centeration, and every single gun needs Centeration, no question about it. We have Hammer Shot, which increases the critical damage and status chance, which is really good because, as I said, it's good because it does more to critical damage. Because, as I said, critical damage is very important, and also, and then the second thing is status chance. Status is not as important as it used to be, but still pretty good. So this is a good perk overall. I use it a lot of my builds. And yeah, so if perk, I mean mod, very good mod overall. I recommend if you get it. I think you can get this from, what do you get it? You get it from nightmares and alerts. Nightmare alerts, I'm pretty sure. And sadly, if you didn't get this from when the acolytes here a couple of days ago, I'm sorry, you'll have to buy it off trade. That's going to be hard. It's going to be like I don't know. They sell for like, I've seen people sell for like 30 to 40 platinum. So prepare to spend a lot if you want to get this. But Argon Scope, very good with this weapon. If you don't know what Argon Scope does, you can see on headshot 135+% critical chance for 9 seconds while aiming, which is very good. Probably one of the best perks in the game for auto rifles. Amazing. Can basically make or break a weapon. For specifically this weapon, it makes it pretty good. That's why we have this build on. And yeah, so you can pretty much make a break weapon. Very good perk. I would recommend if you're gonna buy any perk from the trade tab, buy Argon Scope. Very good. Not in like it'll be good in other builds as well. So yeah. Then we have Point Strike, 150% critical chance, which brings it up to about 12%, 12.5% critical chance. As I said before, you're going to do headshots and you're just going to utterly destroy them. But you got to aim for the heads as well. Like you're just going to utterly destroy enemies with this 12.5%. Again, as I said before in the introduction, you could probably have better weapons for this. There's better weapons, but this build is just here to make it. So if you do want to use the Dera Vandal, here's a build to use it. And best thing to do is use critical chance. Most builds you probably want to use critical chance, even if you want to do a little different. Maybe not use as much status, probably have more, mag size, and have a higher, if you have like any more perks that, increase critical chance, very good, you can probably do that as well. And yeah, so these are probably, and fast hands, these are probably the four, and also saturation, but I like that, that's just an important perk, not perk, mod, for any single, build for any gun, so yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that. But these four right here, very, very, very important for this build. It basically makes it. If you can go into games with this and you would still do pretty good. So yeah, and you can probably switch this out with something else, but like maybe what was it? Viral would be an okay one as well, or Blast. Oh, actually no, not Blast. Blast is very dependent on status. So I'd recommend using either Corrosive or Viral. I prefer I prefer Corrosive, probably one of the best, as you know, if you do, probably one of the best secondary elements in the game. Very good, and it's when it actually procs, when the ability procs, very good. I'll put a video in the description of what exactly Corrosive does, because again, I'm not really the best at explaining it. I try explaining it in my other builds videos, and I'm not really good at explaining it. So I'll just leave that to this video to the video that explains it. And yeah, but like very good if you have high voltage, which I think yeah, I'm not thinking about it. Sure, Barrow, the guy that comes every single 2 weeks, he's selling it. I would recommend getting it for this and the shotgun, because having those on actually just getting all three of them is really good, because they increase status chance, which is really good, and also the most important one of the most important elements to making for making secondary elements, because it literally makes Corrosive one of the best secondary elements. So very important. I would recommend, if you're going to buy anything from them, buy all four of them, so you can have really good high voltage, really good perk, sorry, I keep saying perk, mod for for any build. So you'd be very important on melee and shotguns, and it's just really good overall. So I recommend using it, and it's just really good. So and also you're also going to Infest Clip, which is pretty it's just used for Corrosive, not really that important. And I have it maxed out, so so I get as much Corrosive damage as I can. I could probably so I could probably put in like a little extra. No, I can't actually. If I form this one more time, I could probably put on Stormer Bridge or something. Yeah, I could probably put Storm Bridge, level up Storm Bridge, and make this more effective. I might do that. That's a recommendation. If you don't want to spend, if you don't want to put like 2 form runs of this, you can this is a really good build. But I really like this weapon, so I'm probably going to format it again and put Storm Bridge on it and make it so it does more damage. So yeah, but this is a pretty strong build overall. It's a pretty sorry about that. It's a pretty strong build overall. You know, as I said, it is aimed at for critical for getting those crit damages on the enemies. Really good for damaging the enemies, taking them out, killing them really quickly. And you know you got fast hands. Just is used for so basically you can reload quicker and get back into the battle a lot quicker. And then you got the corrosive, which is just do extra damage, and also for the proc as well, and also get a little stats chance. So yeah, very good build overall for the Dera Vandal. I would recommend if you like the Dera, but because the Dera, honestly, the Dera and the Dera Vandal are pretty they aren't the best. There are a lot better weapons. They are MR fodder. Most people say that it's not the best. But if you do like the Dera and Dera Vandal, this is the build you could use. Again, this is and also, but like if you're a higher MR rank, you could probably you could probably use a different build. But this is for like lower players that don't have that much. And again, the one thing you might not have is Argon's scope. Again, I recommend just getting it not just for this build, but for builds on for further on, because this is probably one of the most important mods for any build, and you'll see it continuously pop up in continuous builds until it basically gets nerfed or critical chance gets nerfed, or crit gets nerfed. I mean, so I would recommend getting it now while while people actually are selling it on the trade chat before it starts dying down. It'll be harder to actually get it. So I recommend getting it now while you still can. Okay, so yep, that's it. And I'm just gonna end the video here now. Recommend using this if you have Dera Vandal or Dera. You can probably use this on the Dera as well. And yeah, recommend doing that. Okay, see ya.